for hundreds of years. This simple piece of cloth, 14 feet long, worshipped by the faithful for centuries.
A 14-foot length of linen kept in a bulletproof, climate-controlled case in Italy. On its surface, the ghostly image of a man.
He was wrapped in linen, and then his body was put in the tomb.
This is the Shroud of Turin. Many are crazy about this relic, but what a new quantum AI just discovered within its fibers is rewriting everything we thought we knew. It's not about religion or history anymore. The AI found a terrifying energy signature, a kind of recording of an event that momentarily broke physics. It suggests the man in the cloth didn't just pass away, he unleashed a force that left an indelible three-dimensional ghost on the fabric. Message in the fibers. For more than a century, scientists have pointed every tool they have at the Shroud of Turin. High-powered microscopes, X-ray machines, and advanced chemical tests have all tried to crack its code, but every answer only led to more questions. You see, the shroud, a mysterious 14-foot-long piece of linen, bears the faint, haunting image of a man who appears to have undergone crucifixion. For believers, it is the sacred burial cloth of Jesus Christ. For skeptics, it's the most clever forgery in human history. Recently, a team of physicists decided to unleash a new kind of mind on this ancient puzzle, a quantum artificial intelligence. They fed it trillions of data points from ultra-high-resolution scans of the cloth, hoping the machine could see what humans couldn't. What it found was, to put it mildly, terrifying. The AI's primary analysis confirmed what many researchers had long suspected. There is absolutely no paint, dye, or pigment on the cloth that could account for the image. The image exists on the topmost microfibers of the linen, a layer so incredibly thin it's less than 1/5 the diameter of a human hair. The most shocking fact is that the image is a perfect photographic negative. When you take a picture of the shroud, the negative image reveals a stunningly detailed and lifelike portrait. This was discovered way back in 1898, long before anyone could have faked such a property. But the quantum AI went deeper. It didn't just see fibers, it saw data. It discovered that the image is not just a two-dimensional picture, it's a three-dimensional map. The AI found a perfect mathematical correlation. The darker the image is in a certain spot, the closer that part of the body would have been to the cloth. What many overlooked is that this is impossible for an artist to create. No painter in the medieval era, or even today, could have crafted an image that perfectly encodes 3D information. When the scientists ran a photo of the shroud through a VP8 image analyzer, a device NASA used to map the moon, it produced a flawless three-dimensional relief of a human form. Any other painting or photograph results in a distorted, grotesque mess. The thing nobody tells you is that the AI found something else. Something hidden that previous tests missed. It detected a residual energy signature woven into the very atomic structure of the linen. This wasn't just a simple scorch mark. The AI identified what physicists are calling a quantum echo. It's a pattern suggesting the image was formed by an instantaneous, massive burst of radiation that came from within the body. This burst of light and energy was so powerful and so brief, lasting mere nanoseconds, that it discolored the cloth fiber by fiber, encoding that three-dimensional information with impossible precision. The AI's models suggest this energy event was unlike anything known to modern physics. It was a controlled, directional burst that defied the normal laws of thermodynamics. This discovery was the first clue that the shroud wasn't just a relic, it was the record of an event that science has no explanation for. The cloth holds a secret far stranger than anyone ever imagined. Relic under the microscope. To understand how terrifying the AI's discovery truly is, you have to look at the history of the shroud's mystery. This isn't some new age artifact, it's been stumping the world's best minds for generations. The story of its scientific scrutiny began in 1898 with an Italian lawyer named Secondo Pia. When he took the first ever photograph of the shroud, he expected a simple record of the cloth. But in his dark room, as the photographic plate developed, a ghostly positive image of a man's face emerged from the negative. The world was stunned. How could a centuries-old cloth contain a perfect photographic negative, a concept that wouldn't be understood for hundreds of years? This kicked off a scientific frenzy. In 1978, a team of 33 American scientists calling themselves the Shroud of Turin Research Project, or STRUP, was granted unprecedented access to the cloth. They spent 120 hours conducting tests, convinced they would prove it was a brilliant fake. After years of analysis, they came to a shocking conclusion. The image was not a painting. They found real human blood, type AB, on the cloth, but they couldn't explain how the body image was formed. One of their reports famously stated, "The shroud image is that of a real human form of a scourged, crucified man." It is not the product of an artist. The blood stains are composed of hemoglobin and also give a positive test for serum albumin. Then came the bombshell. In 1988, 3 separate labs conducted carbon-14 dating on a tiny sample cut from the corner of the shroud. The results came back with 95% certainty. The linen dated from between 1260 and 1390 AD. The case seemed closed. The shroud was a medieval fake. But not all things are what they seem. Many scientists, including some on the original STRUP team, immediately questioned the results. What many overlooked is that the sample was taken from the very edge of the cloth, an area that was known to have been repaired by nuns in the 16th century after a fire. Later microscopic analysis of that exact sample revealed cotton fibers interwoven with the original linen, something not found anywhere else on the shroud. The test had dated the medieval patch, not the ancient cloth. More recent tests using different methods have dated the cloth to the 1st century, right around the time of Jesus. You can see this debate everywhere in the scientific literature. The shroud was a paradox. It had pollen from plants that only grow around Jerusalem, a weaving style consistent with 1st century textiles, and yet the most famous test of all called it a fake. This is the chaotic, contradictory world the quantum AI stepped into. It wasn't just looking at an old cloth, it was analyzing a battlefield of scientific evidence where every clue seemed to point in a different direction. The AI was about to show them the war was just beginning. A burst of impossibility. Armed with a century of conflicting data, the quantum AI did something no human could. It ran a perfect simulation. Its goal was to replicate the exact conditions needed to create the image on the shroud. It processed every known artistic method from painting and rubbing to scorching and stamping. The AI dismissed them all in less than a second. No medieval artist could have created a photographic negative with perfect three-dimensional data encoded at a microscopic level. Then, the AI moved on to natural phenomena. Could a chemical reaction, a lightning strike, or some other fluke of nature have created the image? Again, the AI said no. The mathematical precision of the image was too perfect. The patterns weren't random, they were ordered, intelligent. There was only one possibility left, and this is where the discovery turned truly terrifying. The AI concluded the image was created by a burst of energy so immense that it beggars belief. The simulation showed a single brilliant flash of radiation erupting from the body wrapped in the cloth. This wasn't just heat or light. The AI identified it as a unique form of radiation that could discolor the linen's molecular structure without burning it. To put it mildly, this energy acted like a colossal scanner, mapping the body's three-dimensional form onto the two-dimensional cloth with sub-millimeter accuracy. The energy required to do this would be staggering, equivalent to several billion watts released in a flash lasting less than 1/40 of a second. The most shocking fact is that modern science has no name for this kind of energy event. It doesn't fit our models of physics. But that wasn't the most unsettling part. The AI found a second image hidden on the cloth, a quantum signature underneath the visible one. This second layer wasn't visible to the naked eye or even to most scientific instruments. It was an information pattern encoded in the quantum state of the carbon atoms in the linen. The AI could only describe it as an imprint of transition. The simulation suggested that at the moment the radiation burst occurred, the body inside the shroud was in a state of flux, existing as both matter and energy simultaneously. It was this transition that caused the radiation burst and permanently encoded both the physical and quantum images onto the cloth. The physicists on the research team were speechless. The machine was describing an event that sounded like something out of science fiction. It was describing a body dematerializing. The implications were chilling. If the AI was correct, the Shroud of Turin did not capture an image of a man passing away. It captured the moment a human body released an incomprehensible amount of energy and vanished. This revelation changed everything, raising a truly terrifying question: a new reality. So what does this all mean? For centuries, the debate around the Shroud of Turin has been a binary choice: divine miracle or human forgery. But the quantum AI has presented a third option, one that is far more mysterious and frankly terrifying. People watching this are likely looking for a simple answer, but the thing is, there isn't one. The AI's analysis has effectively vaporized the medieval forgery theory. No artist in the 13th century had the knowledge of physics, mathematics, and quantum mechanics needed to create such an artifact. The level of sophistication is beyond even our current technology. We cannot replicate the Shroud of Turin today, even with all our advanced lasers and supercomputers. So, if it wasn't a medieval fake, what is it? We are left staring at two unthinkable possibilities. The first is that an ancient civilization, long lost to history, possessed a level of technology that equals or even surpasses our own. A civilization that understood the relationship between matter and energy and could engineer controlled bursts of radiation to record information on a quantum level. This idea, while fascinating, has zero evidence to support it. It would mean our entire understanding of human history is wrong. The second possibility is even more profound. What if the event recorded on the Shroud is exactly what the biblical accounts describe: a resurrection? The AI simulation, with its burst of inexplicable energy and its imprint of transition, aligns unnervingly well with the concept of a human body transcending its physical form. This isn't a matter of faith, but of data. The AI, a machine with no religious bias, analyzed the physical evidence and concluded that the image was formed by an event that breaks the known laws of physics, an event where matter was converted into energy. The Shroud, in this context, becomes a literal snapshot of that moment. In our relentless pursuit for a definitive answer, many people are fanatically sifting through data, but perhaps we are all missing the most crucial detail. We treat the Shroud of Turin as a historical artifact, a forensic problem to be solved with carbon dating and spectral analysis. But this approach is flawed from the outset. The Shroud might not be a puzzle at all, but rather stark, undeniable evidence that our fundamental understanding of reality is deeply and dangerously incomplete. It exists at the charged intersection of empirical science and profound faith, a silent, persistent witness to an event that our current frameworks cannot possibly comprehend. For centuries, we have been trapped in a binary debate. Is it a medieval forgery or a holy relic? This question misses the terrifying third option. We wrestle with its origins, asking if we are gazing upon the calling card of a forgotten hyper-advanced technology or confronting the physical, tangible evidence of a divine act that defies the very laws of physics. The image wasn't painted, dyed, or scorched onto the cloth in any conventional way. It is a perfect photographic negative containing three-dimensional information encoded onto linen fibers thousands of years before the concept of photography was even imagined. This fact alone should have ended the debate. Our most advanced analytical tool, the AI, didn't give us an easy answer or a simple verdict. It did something far more unsettling. After exhaustively modeling every known artistic technique and every conceivable natural phenomenon, from radiation bursts to chemical reactions, it concluded that none of them could replicate the Shroud's unique properties. The AI confirmed a terrifying and awe-inspiring truth. Something demonstrably impossible happened, and the Shroud of Turin is the receipt. It's the physical invoice for a transaction that violates known reality. The final, unavoidable question, therefore, is not what the Shroud is, but whether we are truly ready to accept what its existence implies about our world and our limited perception of it. Are we prepared to face a universe far stranger and potentially far more magnificent than we ever dared to imagine? Is the Shroud of Turin a relic from a lost civilization or the definitive proof of a miracle? The AI has shown us the evidence. Now you decide. Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more answers to the world's greatest mysteries.